Welcome back to part two of our balance series. So last week we discussed just some of the basics and understanding of balance and proprioception, how balance is a pillar to coordination and agility and sport-specific performance. One of the things I didn't mention last week is when we're doing that STAR balance test, we can actually make that sport-specific. If you're a hockey player, you can actually hold your stick and go through those positionings, with your stick. Same if you're a lacrosse player. I don't know if you're a basketball player, hold a basketball, but you can make it specific. Again, hockey is a little bit more of a reaching, lunging sport, so that is a very critical tool and skill to hone if you're a hockey player. You're also on ice, and that's one of the most unstable surfaces ever, so you should be good at that. Now today we're going to kind of take this to the next level, and we're going to talk about the tandem balance stance as well as the stork and how to make those even harder than the balance test. So Cody's going to come out. She's bringing with her a pad. If you have access to foam or an RX pad, it's a great tool, and it's probably, I would say, level 1 of unstable surfaces, and we'll discuss how you can progress it up. So first we're just going to start with a tandem balance. So Cody's going to put herself into a tandem position, which is one foot in front of the other. You can do this with your dominant leg forward or your non-dominant leg forward. I suggest doing it with both. When we do things like concussion tests, we tend to do it with just one way, but definitely train your body to do it both ways. So here Cody has dominant leg forward. She's going to put her hands on her hips, and she's just going to practice balancing. 20-second hold for this. So you want to do a 20-second balance in this position. Cody has amazing balance, so this is really easy for her. If we wanted to make this harder, she could go ahead and close her eyes. She could do 20 seconds, eyes closed, tandem balance. You can see that this is a little more harder now. Her body's working to keep herself in line. I bet if we go ahead and open your eyes, Cody, put your non-dominant foot forward. We can see just how changing the dominance of the foot positioning, how it changes her balance. So eyes open, she's still pretty good. We have a little bit more movement. Go ahead and close your eyes. Again, we can see a lot more initial movement as she tries to find herself in space here with the eyes closed with the non-dominant foot forward. Go ahead and open up. So that is how we can make that harder. Make sure you play around with both sides because one is obviously easier than the other. Eyes closed, again, is a progression, so start with those eyes open. Now we're going to talk about the stork, also known as the Captain Morgan. Go ahead and put yourself into that position. Right? So hips up at 90 degrees, knees out at 90 degrees. What I see a lot of is a lot of people doing this. So ankle right close to their leg. This is a safety thing. You feel like if you lose your balance, you can touch your foot or your leg and rebalance. We want to see that foot all the way out. Okay? So go ahead and put that up. Again, we're going to do a 20-second balance test here. To make it harder, we can close those eyes, which is exactly the balance test we do in our KAMS assessment. So this is just great practice specifically for the test at hand. You practice this, you're going to be better at your KAMS assessment because you're practicing exactly what we're testing. But this is a fantastic balance tool. Go ahead and rest. So again, you want to do 20 seconds on both sides. If you want to make it harder, close your eyes. Most people will fall. Cody is a stud, she doesn't. She's stable as a tree. So again, test both sides, eyes open to start. 20-second holds. If you want to progress it, close your eyes. Now we're going to make this harder. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do that same tandem stance, now on an unstable surface. So an RX pad or a piece of foam. So Cody's going to go ahead and put herself into that position. Hands on hips. Okay, 20-second balance. Right off the bat, right, she's still pretty stable, but when we saw how stable she was just on that flat surface, compared to now, it's actually quite the difference. There's a lot more sway going on. I can also see how active her foot is trying to engage to maintain her balance. Go ahead and step back. So again, 20-second hold. RX pad is the first step of unstable surface difficulty. We want to make this harder. We can be on a Bozu ball. We can be on one of those wobble boards. The inflatable discs that are only half full of air, so they're unstable. What we're doing here with those unstable surfaces is we're really making the ankle fire. This is huge for injury prevention, right? Anytime I go to roll my ankle, if I have good proprioception, I'm going to be able to counteract that roll, bring it back, and hopefully reduce injury or at least the severity of injury. The other thing we have here is when we are injured, the proprioceptors in our body are damaged, and our ability to now control and find ourselves in space in relative to our environment for that joint or that extremity is going to be impacted. So practicing balance and proprioception when we're injured is a great way to help speed up our rehab and also test how well our rehab is going. So now we're going to use this foam pad again, and we're going to do the Captain Morgan in this position. This is a lot harder than the stable ground position for the stork. So right off the bat again, you can see how hard Cody's working to maintain this position. I recommend when we're training this and practicing this, let's keep the eyes open until you're really, really good, and then start training your eyes closed. This is quite a difficult test, but practice makes perfect, so definitely do practice this. At least make sure you're hitting these balances tests once, twice a week minimum. You know, the more the better. Practice makes perfect, but if you're not hitting this once a week, you're definitely leaving something out on the table, and you're reducing your ability to be a great performer, because balance is going to make you a better performer. That's it. Try it out. Get creative with some of your unstable surfaces, but please stay safe. If you're on an unstable surface and you're going to do this with your eyes closed, make sure you have a safe landing area. All right, try that out. See how you improve your KAMS score. This will single-handedly make a drastic change in your overall KAMS score. So if you want to beat my world record of 90, practice your balance. Come at me, bro.